What's up, guys? Aladdin Pounds here. We're going to be doing a debate on which is more useful, which character is more useful, Keiko or Sakura. We have 6 people here, 2 judges, and 4 debaters, 4 people debating, 2 teams, 1 for Keiko, 1 for Sakura. And let me introduce everyone real quick. Jason Todd is going to be the first moderator / judge.
What's up?
And the second one is going to be Death Note guy, Zero.
What's up?
Team Sakura will be myself, and then we have Saiyan Z3.
Yo.
And then we have for Team Keiko, Styles Paulino.
What's up, guys?
And Dual Killing Anime.
Yo.
No, this debate is purely on how useful the character is. Nothing else. We're trying to be as unbiased as possible, so without further ado, everyone is going, there are going to be 2 rounds. Each person is going to have a minute to speak, and this is going to be timed very punctually. So, without further, let's begin.
I'm gonna pick who goes first, and I'm gonna start off since it's your channel, Zal, then you get to go first.
Alright. Here we go, guys. We're going over Keiko and Sakura in terms of usefulness. Now, they both have the same underlying role to provide emotional support for the main characters as they went off doing what they do. Now, what separates Sakura from Keiko, in my opinion, I like Keiko as a character so much more than Sakura, but you cannot deny that Sakura, in terms of actually helping in combat and being emotional support, was more significant or more useful, not more significant, more useful than Keiko. I mean, she actually she had a villain she defeated, which was Sasori. She was more useful in that sense, that she actually fought, actually had a good role in a combat perspective and a emotional sports perspective.
41 seconds. Alright, next is Styles.
So, we got Sakura. You know, yes, she is more capable in combat, but here's the thing. As far as relevance to the story, the whole overall theme about Yusuke was growing up. That was the whole underlying overall theme about Yu Yu Hakusho. And then granted, you know, everyone says Kurabara was a main part of that. I won't deny that. But here's the thing, you know, there's a special place in a man, you know, you need to have your male companions and your female companions. And Keiko was quintessentially the most important thing in Yusuke's life. And that's been stated, you know, he proposed to her at the end of the series. He's, that was his main motivation, one of his main motivations when he fought Toguro. And he, you know, specifically when it reflected back on Genkai and Toguro, it was the same with Yusuke and Keiko. That kind of, you know, prevents whatever from happening. So that's all I gotta say.
Alright. 56 seconds. Alright. Saiyan, you're up next. Go.
Alright, so Keiko's only true purpose in the show was to be emotional support for Yusuke, whereas Sakura was that and more for Naruto. Basically, Sakura took the burden of Naruto on herself and tried to go and kill Sasuke on her own. Of course, that ended up, you know, being a farce, but it just goes to show that what she's willing to do rather than what Keiko has the inability to not do, should I say. Not to mention Sakura has also beaten Chiyo, not Chiyo, she teamed up with Chiyo to beat Sasori, one of the Akatsuki members. She also had actual fighting scenes in part 1. And yeah, I mean, she's just done more than Keiko. And her relationship with Naruto has been explored way more than Keiko and Yusuke.
Alright,
And that's
50 seconds. Duel, you ready?
Yeah, man.
Alright, it's on you. Go.
Alright, well, what I see is that there's a failure to acknowledge the difference between physical and emotional and mental health when it's all in regards to moreover to Yusuke and actually in Keiko rather than Naruto and Sasuke and Sakura right here. When you have Keiko and when you have Yusuke, there's emotional support to where he is fueled to protect Keiko in the Four Beast arc when he faces against the last boss, Yusuke, and that helps him develop as a person who needs to find a drive, who needs to find a character, and later on who needs to find the will to become a man. Vice Naruto and Sasuke not getting the wills to make their own decisions through the development of Sakura's character, even though she may be a physical combatant or may help out as a combatant. Keiko more of a side is a liaison to what Yusuke needs to be as an individual who needs to grow as a man, an individual, a person. And that's all I got to say.
Alright.
Basically, like, I'm gonna have to Like, do we say like who we're going for, man?
Yeah, and who you think debated better.
Based off the arguments, not on.
Okay.
You know
Well, if we're basing off the arguments, then I believe that the Keiko side provided more reason for her being irrelevant, because the Sakura thing was basically you guys said the same thing. You know, the Sasori Akatsuki thing, and that only played a little relevance to the actual overall story. And whereas Keiko, she plays like a huge role throughout the whole story until the very end. And Sakura's like meaning to Naruto is diminishing now. Like I believe like he turned her down when she when she wanted to get with him. So
Yeah,
I mean, her role is diminishing.
Pretty much the same thing. Y'all kept bringing up how Sakura is supposed to fight when she's a ninja. She's supposed to fight, and Keiko's not a fighter. She's there for Yusuke, and even though, like what Dole said, during the final arc, she wasn't there for like, 20 episodes, but he fought to protect her because he knew if he lost, shit was gonna go down, and she was the reason he came back to human world because he proposed to her, and that was like the promise. So yeah, so far I say Keiko's winning.
Round 2.
Right, round 2. Styles, it's on you. You ready?
Yeah, okay.
Like, go.
So this is basically just gonna be the roast of Sakura, why she not only is a bad character, but irrelevant altogether. So Sakura, right? She was everyone said that she played emotional support for Naruto. Yes and no, because like she was indecisive about that because she had, superficial feelings for, Sasuke. And at the same time, she didn't know she had a kind of a friendship bond with Naruto. So it was never unclear, and it's always been Kishimoto never explored that he was hopping on Hinata or Sakura or whatever. And not only that, she nearly became irrelevant in the second part of the series. Not even in the story, and not even in a part of Naruto's life. The last time we see them interact was her giving Naruto a hug, and then twice, in the, Hokage Summit, and in the, Pain arc. But that doesn't nearly play on what Keiko, like I said earlier, what Keiko did for Yusuke. She was one of the main motivations for Yusuke's growth.
Alright, saying it's on you.
Sakura has had more of a rival story, gives her more character development, especially, her relationship with Ino, and her healing abilities, and how she's actually learned stuff from people like Tsunade. How she's actually played a role in the war by, healing, other people besides, a potential love interest. I guess not really she loves Naruto, it's just that even though she's like the main female lead, it's a little different than Yusuke and Keiko in that regard. I mean, Keiko is just there for emotional support. That's her only role. I mean, I'm just saying Sakura does that and more. So that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
47 seconds. Alright, Dole, you ready?
Yeah.
Alright, go.
Well, with Sakura, you have her view as the way she was just always on Sasuke and Naruto, and she never really had her own defined will for herself as a character, where Keiko had her own defined will for herself, whether it be romantic or whether it be for the safety of Yusuke or for the safety of her friends. And Sakura, to a certain extent, has that point, and you could say that for Sasuke, but it doesn't appeal behind that and doesn't develop behind that because she still falls the same emotional feelings when she fails to kill Sasuke rather than Keiko, when it develops into a point to where she realizes Yusuke is growing as a man and is content with him doing things by himself, but also was supporting him through the sidelines with Yukina and with Kuwabara's sister and etc. And as the series closes and as Yusuke and her meet at the beach, it comes to fruition that they have a newfound relationship and love for each other, whereas Sakura doesn't have a newfound relationship or a new revelation towards herself and with one of the primary characters of the story.
Alright, Zelda, this all relies on you, man.
Alright, man.
You ready?
Yes, I'm ready. Okay,
right,
so
go.
basically, they both had other people. Yusuke had other people to give emotional support other than Keiko, just like Naruto does. So they both, like usual shonen protagonists do, have other people to give them strength, as far as Nakama go, that stuff like that. Keiko, in a lot of cases, seemed more like a burden. She put herself in danger, or she was put in situations of danger just to make Yusuke, power up in that sense. Which, I mean, I honestly don't like when that happens usually in anime and manga. Sakura actually had a role. She was, in part 1, the smarts of the team. Healer, fighter, and she provided most of the tactical support for her team, and that's really, really significant in part 1. They would not be as far as they are now if it wasn't for Sakura, no matter how you want to look at it. Sakura did have her development. At first she was superficial, she only liked Sasuke because he was an Uchiha. She still is in some sense superficial, but she is less superficial, and you cannot deny she did have some development. And last thing I want to say, Yu Yu Hakusho's done, so of course Keiko.
Time.
Yeah.
Alright, Marcellus, would you like to give your thoughts?
I'm gonna have to, being unbiased, this round has to go to, Team Sakura. But, I would have to, like, to give my opinion or something, like, when you said basically how she became a burden, Keiko was a burden, more than, I believe a help. I believe, Sakura is more of a burden. Because, especially playing a part that she goes into combat and she can easily be, taken down and then used as a hostage, whereas Keiko never was in battle. So she never had to face that, like, danger. And, Naruto always has to, it never, like, it hasn't been shown in a couple hundred episodes, but Naruto is always looking out for Sakura. Like, since he's the, like, most powerful, he always has to look over her, because she's weaker than he is, but yet she still goes into combat. And when he saved her from Sasuke, that showed that she couldn't, like, she was willing to do something, but she wasn't capable of it. So, that was a burden on Naruto right there.
Yes, I would give this round to Team Sakura, but what Zalanda said about Keiko being a burden, she was only kidnapped once during the entire series and put in that danger. That was episode 8 against Hiei. All the other times, Yusuke, she was never, like, really a burden to him. He was fighting to protect her. So that was one thing that you got wrong. Whereas I like what Duel said about how Keiko accepted the fact that Yusuke's changing and he's growing up, whereas Sakura can't accept that with, like, Sasuke or Naruto.
Yeah, I definitely see where you're coming from. Anyways, what I want you guys to do in the comments, tell me who you guys think won the debate, whether it was Sakura or Keiko. Who do you personally think is more useful, and who do you think was debated to be more useful? By the way, if you guys are wondering why the same segment is on both this channel and the Supernova channel, it's mainly going to be on the Supernova channel. This is going to be like a monthly thing on my own channel, whereas on the Supernova channel, it's going to be weekly. So definitely look forward to debates more so on the Supernova channel, and put the ideas for any debates you would like to see in the comments for this video, and they're most likely going to be debated on the Supernova channel and not this channel. Just putting that out there so you guys don't get confused. Anyways, Thousand Pounds here. I would like to thank everyone that participated in the debate. Thank you guys for watching.
No problem, Charmander.
Peace out. I'm not Charmander.
Peace.
Peace, guys.